Hi everyone, I'm Ross Hyman. This is North Jersey Living. Today we have an exciting episode. We're going to be talking about the pros and the cons of living in Millburn Short Hills, New Jersey. This is a really interesting community and I can't wait to tell you all about it. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, please like and subscribe below, or feel free to reach out and contact myself or Greg if you are moving to the North Jersey area or you are planning to sell your home in North Jersey. We'll be happy to help you. All of our contact information is below. So with that being said, let's get right to it. Millburn used to be part of Newark and it split off. That's going way back. But then in about the time of about 1870, a man named Stuart Hartshorn, who is a local entrepreneur, he actually created roll shades, which, you know, the type of shades that you pull down and they spring back up. He invested in a bunch of land in Millburn Township, and then because it looked like there was a lot of short hills, he called it Short Hills. His goal with that area was to make it a more of a nature preserve and a place where people could live peacefully and with nature and not overdevelop it, essentially. So he accomplished that, and Short Hills is a really beautiful community, one of the most beautiful communities in all of New Jersey, and it's become very popular and even very expensive, which we'll get into. Millburn occupies about 10 square miles. Short Hills occupies just over 5 square miles of the 10. But most of the population in Millburn is in Short Hills. So there's about 22,000 residents of Millburn Township, and about 15,000 of them live in the Short Hills part of Millburn. This community is really affluent. It's very it's developed, but there's not a lot of commercial property in there. In Millburn itself, there's a downtown area. There are businesses here. There's a mall. So there is Dun & Bradstreet is located in Short Hills, and then there's the Short Hills Mall, which is one of the nicest and most upscale malls in the country. I mean, it's one of those malls where you walk through it and there's a Bentley or, you know, or Mercedes or Porsche on display, you know, for examples of new cars that you can buy at dealerships in the area. In fact, there used to be a Tesla dealership in it. Now there's a Lucid electric car dealership inside of it. So it's a very upscale mall. It's a very upscale area. Millburn is a little less upscale than the Short Hills part of it, and that's where Millburn is, where all the town is, the village and so forth. But both Millburn and Short Hills have train stations. I'll get into that. Anyway, I'm going to get right to it. So the first pro of living in Millburn Short Hills is the natural beauty. And that is, you know, was the mission of the founder of the area. And as I said, he accomplished that. Some of the things that you'll find in the town, you've got South Mountain Reservation, which is partly in Short Hills, partly in Millburn Short Hills, and partly in South Orange and West Orange. So you've got the South Mountain Reservation, which is a very large park area. That also, within that, there's some really cool things. There's the South Mountain Ferry Trail. I don't know how else to describe this, but it's like people have built little doll houses for imaginary mini people like Smurfs or like leprechauns, or I don't know whatever you believe in, little tiny people, and they've made them out of these little houses and communities out of the natural materials in the area. It's really unusual, it's really unique, and it's constantly evolving because these things are outside. It's not like a protected display inside of a museum. These are things that are built out of sticks and stones and any materials that can be found in nature, and they are propped up on trees and rocks and things, so forth. Hopefully we'll get some pictures that you can see, because it's wild. And they're all like really tiny. There's other natural reserves that in the area. One of them is the Cora Hartshorn Arboretum. There is the Greenwood Gardens, Taylor Park and Pond, Fox Hill Reserve hiking trail, and then there's a country club, the Canoe Brook Country Club, which, you know, no surprise, there's golf there. There's golf in so many areas of northern New Jersey. So the area has been developed with these areas in mind so that there's always a place for people to go and to relax and to really enjoy the surroundings. So that's the first pro. Number two is the arts, culture, and activities. Now, that is goes hand in hand with the nature part of this. And the number one cultural center within Millburn Short Hills is the Paper Mill Playhouse, which originally was exactly what it sounds like. It was a paper mill. There were many paper mills in Short Hills, in Millburn Short Hills. They even used to print money here in the area, this going way back. And so the Paper Mill Playhouse is the official, it's a big deal in this area. It's actually the official New Jersey State Theater, and it's also a pre-Broadway venue. So it's not just a local theater. This is a place where Broadway quality performers come and they train, and then they some of them even work on Broadway as well as at the Paper Mill Playhouse. So you'll find really high quality entertainment there. Some of the shows that are playing now are Jersey Boys. They have White Christmas coming up, Disney's Little Mermaid. The Playhouse also has acting classes. They are a nationally recognized center for musical theater education. And so there is a real community, an arts community in this area, and it's very well supported. There's corporate supporters, so there's money that comes in that helps keep it going. And then there's, of course, they have the school part where people are paying to attend, and the ticket sales. So it is a very well regarded and a very important part of the community here in Millburn Short Hills. Now, there's also some other art schools. One's called the One River School, which teaches arts and digital design to school-age children. You've got Green Door Studio, which has art classes for children and adults. Arte Vino. Now, if you've been to, those places that you can paint and you can drink wine and get a little drunk, that's basically what this is. But they also do classes for kids, and they also allow for private parties and corporate events. But again, it's a big part of the arts community here. And then I mentioned in the intro about Short Hills Mall. While that's not an arts area, it is part of the activities that exist in Short Hills and Millburn, and it is a big gathering point. It's people come from all over to go to the Short Hills Mall. It's not just local residents. It's a beautiful mall with very upscale shops, and it's a great place to visit. Pro number 3 is the community. Because of all the emphasis on the arts, on the emphasis on nature, and the housing and the great schools in the area, which I'll get to, there is the people that live here really value the community, and they help each other out. They support each other. They look out for one another. I've read this in numerous websites. People make these comments that they feel very well supported in Short Hills. They feel that there's a really strong sense of community, and people say they're comfortable walking around town. They know one another. It has that old small town feel. Niche.com ranks Short Hills as the 8th best suburb to raise a family in New Jersey. So, it's well recognized for a place to be a part of a community and to raise a family. Now, for pro number 4, I did touch on schools just a second ago, and that is the fourth pro is the schools here. Consistently, Short Hills has some of the highest ranking schools in the entire nation, if not in the New Jersey area. There are 8 public schools in Millburn. There's 5 K through 4 schools. There's 1 5th grade school, which is a little bit unusual, but all the kids go to the same 5th grade. And then there is a middle school, and then a high school. There are 2 private schools in Millburn Short Hills. One is Far Hills School, which is a progressive K through 8 with emphasis on nature and the arts as well as academics. And then there's the Winston School, which focuses on children with learning differences. So children who have dyslexia, children who have ADHD, differently abled and, kids who have special, they don't use the term special needs, but children who have special needs in their learning. Nonetheless, it is really well regarded for the schools. Niche.com ranks Short Hills #1 for suburbs with the best public schools in New Jersey, #1. And then current and former residents rave about the quality of the schools. You'll see people who come out of this area, who go to colleges, say that they feel that they got one of the best educations that they could get in the nation. So that's a really important factor when you're looking for most people who have children, when you're looking for a place to live. Millburn Short Hills, according to the online surveys and comments that people have made and awards, is one of the highest ranking school districts in New Jersey, if not the highest ranking school district in New Jersey. Now, the fifth con I'm going to get to, it's fairly an obvious one because this is a New York City suburb. And I mentioned this in a lot of our other videos about, for Montclair, for Bloomfield, for all of the other suburbs in the area. But its proximity to New York is the next pro, is the fifth pro. Now, Short Hills has a lot of executives, CEOs, people who work at corporations in New York City, entrepreneurs, and so forth. And so there is a pretty large group that commutes to the city every day. It is the town is 15 miles west of New York City. There are 2 train stations, Short Hills Station and Millburn Station. And the commute, takes anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, but it is well worth it because you have this beautiful place to live with great schools, great community, and so forth. And then you have the close proximity to New York. The New York commutability is a big pro here, and it's a big reason why people move from all over the world to the Short Hills, to the Millburn Short Hills area to work in New York City. I'm going to get right into the cons of living in Millburn Short Hills. Some of these should not be a surprise to you. The first con is the high cost of living. Now, the median home price in this area, according to Realtor.com, is $2.5 million. I mentioned that in my Millburn Short Hills blog, which you can see. You can look at some examples of homes in the area at the median price point, one lower and one higher. But real estate is expensive here, and you get what you pay for. The houses are beautiful. The land is quite large. You get a lot of these homes have half acre to an acre of land, which you don't see in a lot of the other towns in the area generally. And other sources like niche.com put the median home value between 1.25 and 1.5, most of which are in Millburn. Up to $5 million recently is what I've seen in the listings. So there's a very broad range. It's an interesting fact too that there's most of the people that live in Millburn Short Hills are owners. Currently, 81% of the residents live in homes that they own. So a little tidbit worth noting. Con number 2 is high taxes. That goes along with the cost of living, but part of this is because of the fact that the homes in Millburn Short Hills are big and the land is big. So from a tax rate perspective, actually the rate is not as high as some of the surrounding towns. But the median tax bill in 2023 was just under $25,000. And just to compare that to something, in Newark, which is an extreme comparison, but in Newark, the average property tax bill was $7,000 in 2023. That's just to give you the full range. There's a lot in the middle of that in New Jersey. So high taxes are something to be concerned about. Of course, if you're going to buy a home that costs $2 million, you're probably not going to be as concerned about whether or not you pay $25,000 a year in taxes. But it's something that you have to consider when you're calculating your budget for a home and all of the other things that you may be planning to spend money on in the area. So that is the second con. The third con, I mentioned that it's a New York City commuter town, which is a great thing. The commute takes about 45 to 60 minutes, and that's on a normal day. It can take more if there's slowdowns or accidents and things of that sort. Also, the parking for the train stations is very limited, and there have been challenges. In fact, some residents that live near train stations rent out their driveways and parking spots on their property to people who commute into the city. So I do know that Millburn Short Hills has been working on solutions to this. They do offer certain types of passes for parking so that you're not locked out. You can get actually a designated space. But I also hear that there are challenges getting these spaces. So if you are moving to the area and you're going to be commuting to New York City, you have to consider that. Look at the different ways that you can commute. If you do have a parking garage at your business in the city, you could drive into the city. It actually, like at this time of day, happens to be around 5 o'clock right now. I was just looking, and it's actually a holiday weekend, but I was looking at the time it takes to get to the city, and it said 26 minutes from Millburn to the city. So there's a lot of variables, but if you drive in, there are times you can get there faster than taking public transportation. Then you just have to either pay for parking, or maybe your business has dedicated parking. Con number 4, this is a small town. There's limited nightlife. So you're not going to find clubs in the area. You're not going to find, a lot of things open late. Most of the town, especially downtown Millburn, closes by 9 o'clock. The mall closes around 9 o'clock. Of course, there are exceptions during the holidays. Some things stay open a little later. And the other exception is that there are pubs and bars, and the pubs and bars will be open until as late as 2 a.m. So there's a one pub called the Standard Millburn, I believe it's called. That is well known, a really well-known place that people go to for late night drinks and late night food, and that is open till 2 a.m. if I'm not mistaken. So the Standard, there's other places in the area, of course, but that is the nightlife is limited to the bars and pubs that are in the area, and you're not going to be able to shop typically after 9 p.m. The 5th con to me is that it's not bigger, and the reason that I say that is because it's a great town. It has so much to offer, and it's a small town, and if there were more towns like this, if this could be a bigger town, it would be a great place for more people to live. It's just limited to, right now, there's about 22,000 people. So, I would love to see more places like this. I think it's really well planned. They've reserved spaces so that things aren't overdeveloped. And thanks to the founder, Stuart Hartshorn, and to the residents and to the people who continue that legacy today, they have maintained the integrity of Millburn Short Hills. The village area is really charming. The shopping is great. It is a great place to walk, ride your bike, hang out with friends and family. And it's just a shame that there's not more of it. So that is the 5th con for Millburn Short Hills. If you like this video, if you'd like to see more like it, please like and subscribe, or feel free to reach out to Greg and myself to schedule an appointment, a Zoom call, to contact us about either selling your home in northern New Jersey, or if you're planning to move to the area, we can help you. We help people every day like you who are planning to move here in 6 weeks or 6 months. Doesn't matter to us. Please feel free to reach out. Thanks for joining us again at North Jersey Living, and we'll see you in the next video.